Now here's a fun one. This is Theme by Dunkler, also in the grade 6 cello repertoire. Now this piece is all about returning to the best part of the bow. It's about ensuring that your arm takes all of the position changes. It takes your hand to the new place. We shouldn't be searching for notes just with the finger. It won't work. You cannot rely on it happening correctly twice in a row. If you do the movement with your arm, taking your fingers to the new position, it's going to be so much better, so much more quickly. So, what do we have? We have an immediate glissando. It doesn't have to be a glissando as such, but you don't need to hide it. So the shift, the arm takes your hand into 4th position. You're going to place your bow on the string, leaning towards the fingerboard. That's really important because it's the tilt towards the fingerboard that takes the bounce out of the bow. And because we're going to have a lot of retakes, lifting the bow, putting it on the string and lifting it off straight away, when we put it on the string, we need it to stay. So this kind of gives it extra, it's like gravity boots. By tipping the bow towards the fingerboard, it stays on the string. And then you get this effect. Just there. Think of drawing a circle through those down bow actions. Circle, circle, around, around. And you don't have to do too big a circle, just showing you for clarity. And again, so short bows for the quavers. Now this bit, swap to half position, swap. Now that shift that I go forwards, we're not going to do that glissando. I'm going to put one there, but I take my hand way beyond where 1st finger stops because I want to be able to reach the 4th finger. I want that F sharp under my hand when I use my 4th finger. It's just got to be there. So to achieve that, I put 1 on the note I've just played, but my hand continues past. It leaves 1 there, and I end up with that stretch, that pointing back. And that means you'll always reach it. If you try to go to it from behind, you can't. It's just too big a reach. So, and again, that one, it's around what I call no man's land, getting beyond 4th position. So you have to travel on the 1st finger, the grace note, to the G sharp. Little bit of a reach out with the 4th finger, but don't send your 4th finger there on its own. Again, the arm takes the whole hand up there. And then here we go up to the B. Now that's the note. You can either do what I call an undershift, where you swoop into it, or over the top, where you shift up on your 1st finger and you plonk your 3rd finger down on the B once you're in position. So the lower, the preceding shifts, preceding patterns, use that kind of movement. So you get a very clean landing. Here we go, over shift. There's the different 1 to G sharp. So that's how the 1st opening section goes. Like this, placing in the same part of the bow each time. Lean the bow so it doesn't bounce. And remember your vibrato. And then 1st position, half position. So that's your overshift. As I said before, you can do the undershift. As long as you know what you're searching for. You need to hear it in your head before you actually play it. Hear it in your imagination before you play it. And then you'll find it. first position, second position. Now this bit, get your bow on the string. It's an icky bowing, that's what I call it. It's that kind of contact where it's really stuck to the string. You don't want that coming out. If you see on your music, there's accents on all of those semiquavers, so you have to give them a little bit of a bite. And to do that is to actually start the bow and stop the bow for each note. So what I call icky bowing. But remember to then let the bow flow for the slur that comes after. The semiquavers on the string. So slur, on the string, on the string. Lift the bow. There's that pattern again. On. Now that time, it's marked staccato. It's not spiccato. So you don't want to be coming out of the string, but it's just a little bit more gentle. So the first one, and then it's just a tiny difference. You don't need to worry too much about that. But that's what the business is after. Accents or staccato. But you don't want too much risk there. So keep the bow close to the string. Goes up to the B. And then there's a pause there. So crescendo, pause. So to do that pause and not run out of bow, you have to use enough bow on the down bow at the beginning of the bar. So you start the pause note right at the point of the bow. And then off you go. Now that harmonic, so easy. Sounds fabulous, you can impress everyone. It's just first position. So there's your harmonic, and then come back to first position, fourth finger. But the really, really best way to do it is to make sure you make good contact with the finger. If you barely touch the string, that particular harmonic likes to not work. So you have to be quite positive in your contact there. So. And harmonics work best when they're played with a slightly heavy, fast-moving bow. So there's your pause. Use the whole bow. Now we're in half position, and this is free time. If you look at your music, you see you've got too many beats to fit in the time signature here. It's a little cadenza. You can do it in free time. Pause. Back to time. Back to time. Back to time. And stretch it. Pause. With vibrato. Back to the best part of the bow for this down bow pattern. And again. And again. And over the top. Arm takes you. Half position. Okay, so that last bit. First of all, the last three notes. Open A, harmonic, pits. With the fourth finger that just played the harmonic. Okay, this bit, your first finger is going to sit on the D string the whole way through. Each little slurred pattern is a quaver's worth. So if you count in quavers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the speed of the bow changes. That's what you've got to aim for. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If you practice going from your G sharp to your F sharp, there's your shift. 1, 2, 3. And again, this is your arm taking the first finger. So don't worry, I'll move you. It's like somebody picking up you on your chair and placing you in a new place. Now you can play a new note. So, okay, so what do we have? There's that shift again. Look, I go past. I play the one, but the rest of my hand continues up the cello. And then, so you can practice this last little pattern in all sorts of rhythms. Your first finger stays on the D string the whole time. Your fourth finger, second finger, or fourth finger, third finger, they sit on the A string. So there's your pattern. Slow, quick. Or you could move the slow note along by one note. And you do it as many times as you need until it feels really easy, and then move the slow note along by another note. And you keep using those rhythms over and over and over, so that when you go back to the simple straight triplets, it feels really easy. What you're doing by using different rhythms is keeping it interesting, keeping it challenging, but meanwhile, your fingers are developing the muscle memory. You're learning to do it in an automatic fashion, which is just what you need for a little passage like this. So, okay, that's the end of that. But that bit, don't fall into the trap of, oh, well, it's just one bar and it's really fast notes. No. That's the really showy bit. That should leave your audience going, oh, wow. So that's the bit you have to really focus on. Make it magnificent. Good luck.